Hey, good morning. We're going to talk about the number one problem that I see on the dyno almost on a daily basis, and that is clutch slip. And a lot of times it's due to what you put in there. Let's get into it. So clutch fluid, primary fluid, whatever you want to call it, it's a hot button issue, and there's lots of big marketing behind it. And I want to dispel some of the false claims that some companies claim, and also tell you what to use in your primary, in your wet clutch primary of your Harley Davidson. Best practice. So number one, just because Harley says Syn 3 with their product does not mean that it's synthetic. That is a blended fluid. All right, so when you're shopping for other fluids, you're like, oh, I'm just going to get another synthetic. Well, you're buying the wrong product. So again, that is a mineral blend fluid. All right, can it work in all three? Yes, but would you use the same product on your face, hair, and car to preserve the finish? Probably not. You're going to use different products for different applications, and that is the key to longevity. So a lot of these companies, they want to promote convenience and easiness, easy to maintain, all that kind of stuff. So why not come up with a fluid that they can use in all three? Because that's what sells. People like hitting the easy button, but it's not necessarily the best button. So why I'm bringing this up is, more times than not, when I'm on the dyno and someone's got a clutch problem, like, oh, I don't know, everything looked fine when I just changed the fluid. Like, huh? You just changed the fluid, huh? Weird. Anyways, they almost always fall for the synthetic marketing. Just because it's a JASO MA2 product, which means that it's wet clutch safe, does not mean that it's going to work well with your clutch plates that have already been soaked in another fluid. It's kind of like oil floating on top of water. Oil and water don't mix. And some of these additives and these friction modifiers that are in these primary fluids act the exact same way. So when you put your new fluid in, it just kind of floats on top of the clutch plates, and it doesn't allow it to soak in. And it's going to take some time for that to happen, if it happens at all. And a lot of times damage is going to happen to your clutch plates before that will ever happen. So I highly caution people to, whatever you're currently using and what your clutch plates are soaked in, so whatever fluid that might be, whatever is actually in that primary and what your clutch plates are soaked in, keep using that. You're going to have a better result than by changing whatever fluid you're using in that primary out, almost always, across the board. Now, if you're going to change the fluid, then I would change something to something like the Spectro primary fluid. It's like an 85 weight mineral based oil. It's a conventional oil, non-synthetic. That's what I've been trusting with all of my customers' projects for years now, and it works fantastic, and it doesn't break the bank. It's a cheap oil, guys. So it's not like I'm trying to promote, some, obscure, expensive magic oil. It's not. It's a conventional oil that works. It's got the correct friction modifiers, so when those clutch plates engage, they don't chatter. And you might ask, what do you mean, what chatter? Is it making a sound? No. Chatter is when you go to take off and it kind of lurches weird, because the clutch plates really don't know what to do. Are they grabbing? Or are they trying to slip? So it just works that way. So when you do replace that clutch plate system, make sure you're using a fluid that is appropriate for the application. So there's a lot going on in a primary. What's going on? Well, all these new bikes, they have compensators, and actually can't even say new bikes. Compensators have been going in bikes since Jesus was a little boy. The compensator, the chain, and the clutch all require a different fluid. All right, so with the high torque of a compensator, you need something really robust. You need a good quality lubricant, right? But it can't be as much of a lubricant, so the clutch plates can't grab because of it. So that's why there is formulated products especially for your primary. All right, so that's again where Spectro shines. If you don't have a Spectro dealer by you, then Bel-Ray is everywhere. Bel-Ray primary fluid works great as well. This is the same stuff that I've been using in the shop for years and years and years, the same advice, and I'm not having any problems. Now, if you're gonna change your clutch plates and you wanted to go to a Jasso MA2 certified synthetic oil, then that's fine, because the clutch plates are going to be originally soaked in that fluid, and that's important. How do you know if your clutch is slipping? Well, when I'm on the dyno, it's real easy. You can hear the engine rev up, but the power is not being registered. It ends up kind of looking like a curly Q on the dyno graph, where it just looks like literally just someone tried to sign a cursive name. It's literally the clutch signing off. You can hear the engine rev up, but you're not putting any more power down to the ground. So sometimes there's wavy lines all the way across the dyno graph. So a lot of times a dead giveaway is you might have a smooth dyno graph, but your power numbers are down, you know, significantly from what they should be. Well, if the dyno operator isn't aware of how to check the gear ratio charts for clutch slip, then you're gonna have a problem. They're gonna blame the exhaust, they're gonna blame a cam, they're gonna blame an injector, they're gonna blame whatever they possibly can to come up with an excuse on why your power is down. And sometimes it's a lot less. If they just paid attention to different stuff, it would be a lot more clear to them what's actually going on, because the clutch is the most important component to connect that power from the engine that you just built to the dyno. Without that strong connection, you can't measure the power. The dyno cannot measure what it can't see. Power's got to go through that primary into the transmission to your belt or chain, and finally to the rear tire to the dyno. But if it literally can't connect the power from the engine to the transmission, you're not going to have a good result. Your power numbers are going to be down. I stress clutch springs. I stress, you know, taking good care of your clutch, having it adjusted properly, all that kind of stuff. And those are all things that I do almost on the daily with almost every customer that comes through the door. You know, if I see a problem right away, I just handle it. It's nothing that is a big deal usually. Just pop the derby cover off and see what's going on in there. What to do if you're not ready to change your clutch plates, but you need to change a fluid and you're not sure what's in that primary. Well, quick and dirty thing to do would be pull that primary off and just clean those clutch plates. You know, if you got your drain plug out, spray all around your clutch with some good quality brake cleaner and just clean it out the best you can with that derby cover off and replace it with a mineral-based oil. Obviously, that's a quick and dirty way of doing it. I would recommend, if you got the time, pull your primary cover off completely, pull your clutch plates out, inspect them, and then clean them thoroughly with a solvent, and then let them dry, and then re-oil them with whatever oil you're going to be putting in that primary. That would be best practice, and hopefully it works for you. A lot of times it will. If you're after all-out performance and you've gone that far, then I would just recommend just replacing the clutch plates and just move on with life, because I like to touch things once and be done, and you probably do too. And it's kind of a pain in the butt having to pull things apart. So sometimes you buy things used. The cost of doing business with buying things used is sometimes replacing things that may or may not be ready to be replaced, but just for the peace of mind of knowing that what's in there. I want to recap again the difference between synthetic and a conventional oil that I'm recommending for your primary. If you see a mineral based at all in the description, it's going to be conventional. That's a natural mineral. All right, it could just say conventional. All right, so that's a big difference. Synthetic, it's going to be advertised as synthetic. For you guys that may have eliminated your compensator, for those applications, then we can get real old school. We can use like a type F transmission fluid, because now we're just worried about the chain and the clutch plates. We no longer have to worry about the compensator needing special lubrication. So with those, then you can just use that cheap type F ATF fluid or like a B&M trick shift. Any of those are going to be just fine, because you're just dealing with a wet clutch system, the same as in your automatic transmission. Do I recommend getting rid of the compensator? That's a whole other video, but no, not in a street-driven Harley Davidson. If Harley Davidson could eliminate that compensator and eliminate all those parts and all that cost reliably, you can bet your butt that they would. But it is there for a reason. It's for shock absorption. That's to keep everything in your drive line, including your engine, alive longer. They don't want to honor their warranty just as much as you don't want that bike in the shop. So they're going to add some parts in there to reasonably accept some shock and protect all those components. I hope this video helps some of you with choosing the best maintenance route for your Harley Davidson. Take care, everyone.